How to stay calm in any situation. Have you ever wondered why, despite everything you have, something still seems missing? Why, in the middle of the noise and rush of everyday life, there seems to be a void that nothing can fill? I know, we've all been there. Sometimes life feels like an endless cycle of routines that drain our energy, and before we know it, we find ourselves trapped in a superficial version of ourselves. But what if I told you there's a way to change all of that? That there's a way to leave that stagnant feeling behind and find something deeper and more meaningful? This video isn't for those looking for shortcuts, quick tricks, or empty promises. It's for you. For you who are tired of chasing things that don't make sense. For you who are willing to look within, to question what really matters, and, above all, to change. Because change, my friend, is a choice. And it's not an easy one. It's a journey. And like every great journey, it begins with a single step, the step of reflection. But don't be fooled. This journey isn't for the weak. It involves letting go of the need to please others, abandoning the fear of failure, and facing the truths we've avoided for so long. It's about stepping off the surface and exploring the depths of who we really are. The reward: a more authentic, lighter life, aligned with what you truly believe. And trust me, you will never be the same again. So I invite you to stay with me until the end, because maybe, just maybe, what you discover today will be exactly what you need to flip the switch and take the next step in your life. And who knows, the lesson you hear today might be the one that finally makes everything fall into place. Are you ready for this transformation? Then let's go together, because from now on, we're not just going to talk about change. We're going to live it. You don't have to board every train that comes your way. You know those moments when your mind feels like a storm. Heavy thoughts arise, negative emotions show up uninvited, and all you want is to get rid of them as quickly as possible. Who hasn't tried to fight their own mind? But what if I told you the key to peace isn't about eliminating those thoughts and emotions? True inner peace doesn't come from the absence of turmoil, but from the ability to accept it. Think of your thoughts as a train. Imagine you're standing on a platform. The cars pass by, one after the other, carrying worries, frustrations, and insecurities. And here's the curious part. You're not obligated to get on any of them. That's right, you can watch the train go by without boarding. Now let me ask you, how many times have you jumped on that train without even realizing it? Your mind throws out a thought, you're not good enough. And before you know it, you're traveling to dark places. But here's the point, negative thoughts and emotions are passengers, not definitions of who you are. Accepting that they are part of the journey is a liberating skill. It's not about giving up or being complacent, but about recognizing that fighting the inevitable only increases suffering, like trying to push the ocean back to the shore, useless and exhausting. Okay, this thought showed up, now what? This is the question you can ask the next time something bothersome arises. You don't need to board it, you don't need to fight it. Let the thought be what it is, just another car passing by. Accepting thoughts doesn't mean agreeing with them. It means acknowledging them as part of the human experience. Everyone, even the most successful people you know, deals with negative emotions. The difference lies in how they choose to live with them. So, why carry the weight of the world on your shoulders? Thinking something bad doesn't define you. Feeling fear isn't a weakness. We all have trains passing by, but not all of them need to be boarded. So, here's where I invite you to reflect. What thoughts or emotions have you been carrying unnecessarily? Which ones can you observe and let go of today without engaging? Let's practice acceptance together. We don't need to control every thought. Just learn to give them space without letting them take over our path. Acceptance is giving yourself permission to live fully, even when the mind insists on bringing clouds. After all, every storm passes. And you? You are the constant observer of the landscape, not the passenger of every train that appears. Just as we learn to accept negative thoughts and emotions without fighting them, there is something even more powerful we can do to cultivate inner tranquility. Create moments dedicated to reflection. After all, it's not enough to just watch the trains go by. Sometimes we need to stop and look within, with calm and awareness, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. How making time for reflection can turn our minds into a more serene and organized space, even amid the chaos of everyday life. How many times have you felt like you were just reacting to the world around you, as if each day was an avalanche of tasks, notifications, and worries? In the rush, the mind becomes overwhelmed, and it's easy to lose sight of what really matters. That's where reflection comes in, an intentional pause to organize thoughts and emotions, bringing clarity and balance. Imagine your mind as a lake. Throughout the day, various stones, thoughts, stimuli, demands are thrown into the water, creating waves and turbulence. Without a pause for reflection, these waves don't have time to settle. Reflection is like allowing the surface of that lake to become smooth again, revealing the depth underneath. Why is daily reflection essential? When we take time to reflect, we can see beyond automatic reactions and fleeting feelings. It's a conscious act of stepping away from external noise to connect with what's truly happening within. It's not just about thinking about what went right or wrong in the day, but observing how we feel and why we react the way we do. This practice helps us avoid letting external influences dictate our emotional state. And here's a powerful truth: time is never found, it's created. If you wait for spare time to reflect, it will never appear. So the proposal is simple. Set aside a few minutes at the start or end of the day to be alone with yourself. It can be before bed, during a quiet breakfast, or even on a light walk. The timing doesn't matter. What matters is the intention to be present with your own thoughts. What if I don't know where to start? Start small. Ask yourself, what's weighing on my mind right now? Or, what was the most meaningful moment of my day? It doesn't have to be a long or complex exercise. The simple act of observing your thoughts and emotions neutrally is already a powerful step. Don't judge what arises. Just observe, like someone reading a book slowly, page by page. This pause for reflection isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, the mind becomes confused, and it's easy to get lost among the day's demands. Personal reflection gives us a chance to recalibrate our priorities and act with greater clarity and purpose. So tell me, have you been creating these moments of pause in your routine? What could change if you started setting aside a few minutes daily to connect with yourself? Let's transform small moments of silence into a powerful habit of self-awareness. Because when we make time to reflect, we create space to live more consciously and with less chaos. Taking time to reflect is like cleaning the lens through which we see the world. And once that vision becomes clearer, we can recognize something that has always been there but often goes unnoticed: the reasons to be grateful. No matter how chaotic life may seem, there's always something to be thankful for. And it's precisely this shift in perspective that can lead us to the next step: the conscious practice of gratitude. Imagine you're holding two vases. One represents what's missing in your life, and the other, what you already have. Now think, which of these vases do you tend to pour more of your mental energy into? It's natural to worry about what's missing or didn't go as planned. But in doing so, we often forget to value what we already have, and many times it's exactly what sustains us. Stoic philosophy reminds us that the key to a serene life isn't to accumulate more, but to learn to appreciate what we already have. Epictetus, one of the great Stoics, said, "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you don't have." And this is where gratitude comes in as a practical tool, an anchor that keeps us connected to the present moment and strengthens our emotional resilience. Why is gratitude so powerful? Because it shifts the focus. Even amidst difficulties, focusing on what's positive is a conscious act of emotional resistance. It's not about denying problems, but about recognizing that despite them, there's still something to be grateful for. Whether it's health, the support of someone close, or even the small joys of daily life. Gratitude is a reminder that we always have more than we realize. How to practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is like a muscle that strengthens with constant practice. Here are some simple ways to incorporate it into your routine. Gratitude journal. Before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. They can be simple things, like a smile you received, a moment of tranquility, or even the aroma of morning coffee. Say, "Thank you," out loud. Express gratitude more often, especially to those around you. Recognizing small gestures creates stronger and more genuine connections. Reflect on the past. Think about challenges you've overcome. Looking back, acknowledge how much you've grown and the blessings that appeared along the way. You might be thinking, but how can I be grateful when things aren't going well? That's the beauty of gratitude. It doesn't wait for perfect circumstances. It's strongest in times of adversity because it teaches us that even when everything seems difficult, there's always something that can bring us solace. So here's a question for you. What if you started practicing gratitude today? How would your life change if instead of lamenting what's missing, you decided to celebrate what you already have? Gratitude is an invitation to replace dissatisfaction with serenity. And the more we practice it, the more reasons we find to be grateful. A virtuous cycle that transforms how we see the world and strengthens us emotionally. Let's cultivate this practice together, because in the end, gratitude doesn't change what happens around us, but it changes how we react to everything, and that's the true key to inner peace. When we cultivate gratitude, we begin to see value in small things and realize that our body and mind are some of the greatest gifts we have. But these gifts require care. That's where the next step comes in, adopting a healthy lifestyle, because emotional well-being and physical health go hand in hand. If we want to face adversity with serenity, we must give our body and mind the attention they deserve. Have you noticed how your mind works better after a good night's sleep, or how your body feels lighter after a walk outdoors? Our well-being isn't the result of a single isolated action, but rather the balance between body and mind. And this balance gives us the foundation to handle life's ups and downs more calmly and consciously. Living healthily doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it's the simple, consistent practices that make the biggest difference. Eating well, moving your body, and getting enough rest are essential pillars that support not only physical, but also mental health. When we care for the body, we are also nurturing the mind. Nutrition, fuel for the body and mind. Think of your diet as the fuel you choose to put into the engine of your life. Nutrient-rich foods provide the energy needed for the body to function well and keep the mind clear. Eating in a balanced way doesn't mean restricting, but finding a healthy relationship with what you consume. Small daily choices like drinking more water or including more fruits and vegetables in your meals can have a significant impact in the long run. Movement. The body was made to move. Whether you prefer the gym, dancing, walking, or yoga, what matters is keeping the body in motion. Regular exercise releases endorphins, the feel-good hormones that help reduce stress and improve mood. Additionally, moving your body enhances sleep quality and boosts confidence, making you feel more prepared to face daily challenges. Sleep, the body and mind's natural restorer. Never underestimate the power of a good night's sleep. Proper rest is essential for the body to recover and for the mind to process the day's emotions and learnings. When we sleep poorly, our emotions become more unstable and our decisions less rational. Creating a nighttime routine that promotes sleep, like avoiding electronics before bed or setting up a comfortable environment, is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. The connection between body and mind. When we care for the body, our mind responds positively. Balanced nutrition, physical exercise, and restorative sleep create a solid foundation for emotional balance. With this foundation, it becomes easier to practice gratitude, reflect on challenges, and accept negative emotions. So tell me, what small changes can you make today to take better care of your body? What can you do to improve your sleep or add more movement to your routine? Remember, the path to a healthier life isn't about perfection, but consistency. Every step taken in the right direction, no matter how small, makes a difference. Let's build this balance between body and mind together, because in the end, a healthy body is the foundation for a peaceful mind. Ready to take the next step toward a healthier life? When we choose to lead a healthy lifestyle, we learn that balance doesn't come only from caring for the body and mind, but also from understanding what truly matters in our routine. And so, an essential question arises. Are we overloading our lives with more than we need? Mental health isn't just about what we do, but also about what we choose to let go of. Now let's explore how simplifying can bring us more peace and clarity. We live in a fast-paced world, full of demands, tasks, and distractions. It often feels like the more we try to keep up with everything, the farther we drift from what truly matters. Simplifying life is like clearing a room full of unnecessary objects. Suddenly, everything feels clearer and more breathable. And that clarity is essential for making conscious decisions and living with more serenity. But simplifying doesn't mean giving up everything or living with the bare minimum. It's about choosing, with intention, what we want to keep and what we are willing to leave behind. It's a process of setting boundaries and saying no when necessary. Not because we're selfish, but because we understand that not everything requires our attention. Setting boundaries. Less is more. Have you noticed how saying yes to everything can quickly drain your energy? Setting boundaries is an act of self-care because it allows you to focus on what really matters. This might mean reducing commitments, letting go of habits that don't add value, or creating intentional moments of rest. Learning to prioritize is a way to free up mental space and reduce stress. Simplifying your routine, prioritizing the essentials. How many tasks do you complete each day that in reality add little to your life? Eliminating excess is like removing noise from your mind, making it easier to focus on what's essential. This can be achieved by adjusting your priority list daily and asking yourself, what is truly necessary today? What can I postpone or delegate? Simplifying is about making life easier, one step at a time. Conscious choices. Clarity for decision-making. When we simplify, we gain clarity, and with clarity comes better decision-making. With fewer things competing for our attention, we can act more consciously and in line with our values. The feeling of being in control of our lives doesn't come from the number of tasks we complete, but from the quality of our choices. Now I invite you to reflect. Which aspects of your life are weighing you down more than they should? What can you simplify today to live more lightly? Simplifying isn't about giving up everything, but about making room for what's essential. Less stress, more inner peace, fewer distractions, more purpose. When we choose simplicity, we discover a serenity that comes not from the outside, but from within. Shall we work together to make life simpler? After all, it's in simplicity that true clarity is revealed. By simplifying life, we learn to make space for what truly matters. Surprisingly, one of the most meaningful things we can cultivate is the ability to give without expecting anything in return. Sometimes the greatest sense of lightness comes not from what we remove from our routine, but from how we choose to offer the best of ourselves with detachment and authenticity. And that's exactly what we're about to explore: how genuine altruism can be a deep source of inner peace. Have you ever felt disappointed after helping someone and not receiving recognition or reciprocation? This is a common feeling, but it can be avoided if we change how we view our actions. True altruism carries no expectations. It comes from the heart, and the mere act of giving is enough. Acting with expectations is like throwing an emotional anchor. You tether yourself to the idea that the reward will come, and when it doesn't, frustration sets in. The secret to inner peace lies in letting go of these expectations. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent. Rather, it means that your actions can be free and light without the weight of anticipation. The power of acting for the pure joy of helping. Imagine how liberating it would be to act purely out of a desire to do good, without worrying about responses or rewards. Each act of kindness becomes an opportunity to express who you are, not a transaction. By removing expectations from the equation, you discover that the greatest reward is not in what you receive, but in who you become through helping others. Altruism and personal values. Living in alignment with your values is one of the most powerful ways to achieve serenity. When your actions come from a genuine place, consistent with what you believe, the response of others becomes irrelevant. Satisfaction lies in knowing you did the right thing. This way, you avoid frustrations and remain in harmony with yourself. Detachment, the key to inner peace. Letting go of expectations is like releasing a balloon. You stop clinging to what's beyond your control and experience the lightness of simply being. Every time you act without expecting anything in return, you strengthen your ability to live in the present, free from the bonds of reciprocity. So let me ask you, how many times have you held back from doing something good out of fear of not being acknowledged? What if, starting today, you decided to act solely for the joy of doing good? Giving without expecting anything in return is an act of freedom. In this selfless altruism, we find inner peace, as it teaches us that the value of an action lies not in the response, but in the intention. Often the true gift is not what we receive, but what we offer with an open heart. Living in the present, the path to inner peace. When we stop expecting anything in return, we discover a freedom that brings us closer to an essential truth. The present moment is all we really have. Living without expectations teaches us that peace is not found in tomorrow or in the past, but here and now, in the only moment we can truly experience. And so, we arrive at the next step: how living fully in the present can transform the way we view life. How often do you find yourself reliving past situations or worrying about things that haven't even happened? The human mind naturally wanders between regrets and worries, pulling us away from the only place where life truly unfolds, the now. Being present is one of the greatest challenges of our time. There are countless distractions, and our minds race in multiple directions. However, the truth is that living fully in the present is the key to finding peace and satisfaction. When we are fully engaged in the moment, every experience becomes richer and more meaningful. Mindfulness, the art of being here and now. Mindfulness teaches us how to bring the mind back to the present. It's the practice of observing what is happening now without judgment. It can be something as simple as feeling the texture of a cup in your hands or listening to the sound of the wind. The goal is to connect with the present moment with curiosity and openness. The past is gone, the future is yet to come. Clinging to the past or worrying about the future steals our chance to fully live the now. The present is the only place where we can act, feel, and be. When we realize this, every moment, no matter how ordinary, becomes an opportunity to experience life in its purest form. How to cultivate presence in everyday life. Take conscious breaks. Amid the busyness, take a few moments to breathe deeply and reconnect with the present moment. Observe your thoughts. Notice when your mind wanders to the past or future and gently guide it back to the present. Appreciate small moments. Each detail can be a doorway to the present, the aroma of coffee, a friend's laughter, or the warmth of the sun on your skin. Peace resides in the now. When we are fully present, we no longer need to chase anything. The peace we seek is right here, waiting to be experienced. The present is where meaning is found, where our choices come to life, and where happiness is no longer a distant promise, but a reality. So, I ask you, what are you missing out on by not being present right now? How would your life change if you began to value every moment for what it is? Living in the present is an invitation to be mindful of every instant, no matter how simple. The more we practice this presence, the more we realize that happiness isn't somewhere far off in the future. It's right where we are, here and now. Shall we cultivate this presence together? After all, life isn't a destination to be reached. It's a moment to be lived, one instant at a time. When we choose to live fully in the present, we realize that carrying the weight of the past or the anxieties of the future keeps us from enjoying the now. But here's a liberating truth. Not everything needs to be held onto, and some things are meant to be left behind. In the act of releasing what we can't control, we find lightness. Now, let's explore how letting go is essential to cultivating inner peace and moving forward. Have you ever clung to a thought or feeling, even knowing it wasn't good for you? Maybe frustration, resentment, or the sense that something should have been different. Letting go isn't about giving up or forgetting. It's about freeing yourself from what cannot be changed. It's an act of courage and a conscious choice not to let the past or unmet expectations take hold of your inner peace. Acceptance, the first step toward letting go. Accepting that not everything is within our control is like letting go of a rope pulling us back. And in letting go, you don't lose anything. Instead, you gain freedom. Releasing isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. Why is letting go so hard? Our minds are wired to seek control. We want to understand everything, solve everything, and ensure nothing deviates from expectations. But this relentless pursuit of control creates an emotional burden. When we insist on holding on to the past or what's beyond our reach, we get stuck in a fight we can never win. Letting go is an act of liberation. Imagine carrying a suitcase full of rocks. Each negative thought or stored emotion is like a stone in that suitcase. The more you carry, the heavier your journey becomes. And here's the thing, many of those rocks don't need to be there. Letting go is choosing to remove them one by one until the suitcase is light enough for you to move forward more easily. How to practice letting go. Acknowledge what's beyond your control. Not everything can be changed or solved. Accepting this reality is the first step in releasing. Practice gratitude for what was and what is. Gratitude makes space for moving forward without resentment. Create letting go rituals. Sometimes writing a letter you'll never send or simply taking a deep breath while imagining something leaving you can be a powerful way to release. Letting go promotes inner peace. Releasing is an act of self-compassion. It's recognizing that you don't have to carry everything alone and that it's okay to move forward without certain burdens. When you let go of what you cannot change, your mind opens to new possibilities and experiences. Inner peace doesn't come from struggle, but from acceptance. So, let me ask you, what are you holding on to that you should have let go of already? How would your life change if you chose to let go today? Letting go isn't an instant act. It's a continuous practice of recognizing, accepting, and releasing. The more we practice, the freer we become to live fully in the present, with lightness and serenity. When we learn to let go, we find lightness and space to move forward. But even with a calm mind and an open heart, we can't ignore that inner peace also depends on concrete foundations. After all, it's hard to find serenity when our most fundamental needs are unmet. Now let's explore how addressing those needs is essential to building an emotionally balanced and fulfilling life. Inner peace is rooted in practical and concrete realities. Peace of mind isn't just mental or spiritual, it's also grounded in the practical aspects of life. How can we feel at ease if we're worried about bills, undernourished, or lacking meaningful connections with others? Emotional stability starts with organizing our fundamental needs, building a solid foundation. Just as a tree needs firm soil to grow, we also need a stable foundation to thrive emotionally. This foundation includes simple yet essential things: a safe place to live, enough food to nourish our bodies, and healthy relationships that offer support and belonging. Taking care of these areas is the first step in creating a serene mind. The importance of shelter and security. Having a place to call home is more than a practical matter. It's an emotional anchor. Feeling secure and welcomed in a stable environment reduces stress and provides a sense of belonging and control. Organizing your space, no matter how simple, is an act of self-care. Nutrition. Feeding the body to sustain the mind. Nutrition isn't just a physical need, it also directly affects our mood and mental clarity. When we nourish our bodies with the right foods, we're also caring for our minds. Creating a balanced meal routine supports energy and well-being. Healthy relationships. Connections that strengthen us. As social beings, meaningful relationships are an essential part of emotional balance. Surrounding yourself with people who offer support and with whom you can share your experiences helps build a sense of belonging. It's not about quantity but quality. A small, genuine circle can be enough. Organization, the path to stability. When every fundamental area of life is organized, the mind gains space to focus on what truly matters. Inner peace can't be cultivated in chaos. It blossoms in stability and simplicity. So, take stock. Is your routine organized? Are your finances in check? How are your social connections? Small, practical actions in these areas create the foundation that supports a balanced mind. Building peace from the essentials. True peace isn't about escaping problems, but rather about handling them from a solid foundation. When our fundamental needs are met, it's easier to face challenges without feeling overwhelmed. It's like building a house. If the foundation is strong, the structure can withstand even the fiercest storms. So, tell me, which fundamental areas of your life need more attention right now? What can you do today to start organizing this foundation and achieve greater stability? Let's take care of the essentials, because when the foundation is firm, we have the freedom to explore and grow without fear of collapsing. Inner peace isn't a luxury, it's the result of practical and conscious choices that support well-being in all areas of life. Ready to organize this foundation and take the next step towards serenity? When we organize our fundamental needs, we build a solid base to live with more stability and inner peace. But even with everything in order, we must accept that we won't always be perfect. And that's okay. Perfection isn't the goal. It's in accepting our imperfections that we find freedom and authenticity. Now let's discover how embracing our flaws can transform how we live and see ourselves. Have you ever thought you'll only be happy when everything is perfect? That you must always get things right, avoid mistakes, and hide your flaws? The truth is that perfection is an illusion, an unattainable ideal that distances us from who we really are. Peace doesn't come from being flawless, but from embracing our imperfections and learning to walk with them. Imperfection as part of identity. Every flaw, every mistake, every detail you wish to change about yourself is an essential part of your identity. We aren't defined only by our achievements, but also by the lessons we learn from stumbling along the way. Accepting this allows us to live more lightly, without the constant weight of self-criticism. Authenticity over perfection. Being authentic is much more powerful than striving for perfection. When we allow ourselves to be who we really are, with all our flaws, mistakes, and uncertainties, we discover the beauty of authenticity. Interestingly, it's when we show our imperfections that we become more human and connect more deeply with others. Learning from mistakes, a constant opportunity. Mistakes aren't the end of the road, but opportunities for growth. Each failure invites us to learn and evolve. What matters isn't avoiding mistakes, but learning to deal with them constructively without being discouraged. When we embrace this mindset, we see imperfections as part of becoming better, not perfect, but better. The relief of acceptance. Accepting imperfections doesn't mean giving up on improvement. It means stopping the fight against the impossible and finding relief in who we are now. It's like releasing an unnecessary burden, the burden of trying to fit into an unrealistic mold. From this acceptance, we begin to live more fully and meaningfully. So, tell me, what imperfections are you struggling to accept? What if, instead of fighting against them, you chose to embrace them as part of your story? Let's learn to live more lightly. Life doesn't demand perfection. It only asks that we be true. When we accept our imperfections, we discover that we don't need to be flawless to be worthy of love, respect, and inner peace. After all, it's through the cracks that the light gets in. Each step in this journey shows us that inner peace isn't distant or unattainable. It's built through daily choices. The beauty of this journey lies in recognizing that we don't need to be perfect, only authentic. Transformation happens when we accept that we are works in progress, learning and growing through every experience. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these steps resonated the most with you? What will you apply to your routine starting today? If this video brought you value, leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. We want to know how you are building your inner peace. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content and continue this journey with us. Shall we continue together?